Hey y'all, so it's me again. I'm making a vlog for myself to basically keep up with some promises I've made to myself regarding foods that I've been cutting out. And I've posted a little bit about this before, but I'm just going to be making a daily vlog for myself, maybe weekly, maybe monthly, to kind of update you guys on how it's going, on how quitting sugar is going. So I've already cut out alcohol. I'll talk briefly on gluten. So I was eating like a bagel with cream cheese every morning, and that was kind of like what I felt. What I felt was giving me the most energy source because I work out pretty actively. I do CrossFit. I also go to the gym, so I'm constantly working out maybe 5 days a week. So I noticed that if I ate a bagel with cream cheese in the morning, throughout the entire day, pretty much until like maybe like 3 or 4 p.m., I would have crazy energy. But like once again, glucose, which is in sugar and it's also in refined starches like bread, that is what energizes your body. But the best source of energy for your body is actually fat. So when you're eating sugar, when you're eating gluten, you are taking in glucose because in your mind you're like, this is giving me energy. Well, if you weren't to be eating those foods, your body would take the same source of energy from fat and burn that store of fat in order to give your body the same amount of energy. So, moving on to sugar. So, okay, well, first of all, once I cut the gluten out, and I subbed it out for oatmeal with blueberries. Blueberries being very high in antioxidants, oatmeal being high in magnesium, high in iron, high in whole grains. There's actually a lot of really good health benefits from oatmeal. And I started eating that. Instead of putting sugar in my oatmeal, I would put maybe a little monk fruit, maybe cinnamon. My husband was like, we should put cinnamon in the oatmeal to make it taste a little sweeter. I watched a couple of videos. It said cinnamon adds some sweetness. It totally did. And so now that's my staple breakfast in the morning is oatmeal with blueberries and cinnamon. And we have like 6 blueberry bushes on our out on our field. So we picked like a lot of blueberries this summer, and they taste so good off the bush. Oh my god, they're so good. They're candy. You know what I mean? They're just so sweet and a little bit of sour. Like it's just really good. So we froze all those blueberries, and when you freeze any food, spinach, blueberries, when you freeze any food, as soon as you pick it off a leaf, it's losing nutrients. So when you freeze it, you save all those nutrients. And so we have bags and bags of frozen blueberries. And so basically, we heat up the oatmeal, we put blueberries and just mix it up. And we don't microwave the blueberries. As soon as the oatmeal is like, it naturally melts down the blueberries and it just tastes so good. And now that I've switched that out for my breakfast, I've noticed a huge difference with just weight loss, with energy. There's actually been days where I've eaten the oatmeal and probably haven't eaten until like 4 or 5 p.m. And it gives me the same amount of energy that I thought bagels and cream cheese were giving me. So that's one thing on gluten. It is a little bit hard, gluten, when you're cutting it out, basically because of just when you go out to eat. I mean, there's a lot of places that don't have good gluten-free options. So you're running into a little bit of that with not having gluten-free options. So anyway, now moving on to sugar. So sugar has been this yo-yo of a journey for me. So let me just back up a little bit. Last year, I cut out sugar for about 7 months. I was told by my doctor for a separate health issue, hey, you can't eat sugar anymore. You got to cut it out completely. Like you can't have any sugar. And she was like, or you're going to have this reoccurring health problem. So I was like, okay, I took it very seriously and went cold turkey. Cut it out. I was drinking a lot of sugary coffees. I was having ice cream at night. I cut out sugar around the same time I cut out alcohol. So alcohol I've been quit for probably like 2 years now. Sugar I quit last year for about 7 months, and then after I went back to the doctor and wasn't having the same reoccurring health problem. I was like, okay, like I'm good now. I'm safe. I had substituted some supplements, some multivitamins, some probiotics. Always have a good probiotic. That's one big tip for gut health, is a good probiotic. So once I had kind of supplemented my diet with these other things that were controlling that health issue, I realized, okay, now I'm gonna have a little bit of sugar. So I was like, okay, like I kind of dipped my toe back in the water, and I really wish I hadn't, because it was all downhill after that. I would have like the cravings for sugar, they get more and more intense the more you eat it. So it's like I would have ice cream at night, and then I would be like, I'm just really craving a chocolate muffin at the coffee shop. I never would eat sugary things. Only at night would really I eat sugary things. But then I was noticing I'm craving a coffee, and I would get the sugar-free coffee, but then I would have a chocolate muffin. And so it's like and even like this particular coffee that I would start drinking, it's this Amaretto artisanal coffee place in the downtown square, and I was so addicted to it. Like I would wake up just craving that Amaretto syrup, and it's like craving sweetness and coffee and chocolate muffins, and that was what I was thinking. I would be crashing energy wise, so I would have a little sugar pick me up. So a lot of people get confused when it comes to sugar, because they're noticing when I eat this I have more energy, but what they're not noticing is that after you eat that high spike, it comes back down, and you have that crash, you have that low that low kind of crash where the sugar has left your body, and now you're in kind of a withdrawal. So just like caffeine can bring you up and then afterwards brings you down, sugar can do the exact same thing. Now, sugar is so bad for your body in so many ways. It can cause inflammation that leads to long-term disease. It can cause diabetes. It can cause people sometimes are pre-diabetic and don't even know that, because like for instance, my husband, he was pre-diabetic, and we didn't find that out until his last physical, and he had high blood pressure. He was pre-diabetic, and it was just at that time that we decided we need to make some healthy changes. And I ended up signing up for a meal service that was really helping us with portion sizes, and having dinner every night that's a balanced, prepared meal, that never frozen, healthy vegetables, low in carbs, very low in carbs. Like instead of mashed potatoes, it was cauliflower mash. If it was mashed potatoes, then a small amount. And you would read the back of these, and just of these meals, and maybe just a couple grams of sugar. So I know that because there is added sugars in a lot of sauces, but they're very sugar conscious in this meal plan that we were doing. So the meal plan was tip number one that really helped us start losing weight. My husband had kind of like that, dad gut. And ever since he kind of started exercising a lot, his blood pressure came back down to normal. Now we're working on the pre-diabetic part of his diagnosis, where we're cutting out sugar completely. And that is going to help a lot him come down from that pre-diabetic spectrum. So today is probably 1 week off of sugar, that I've had a 1 week off of sugar. And I will say that as every day has gone by, I am craving it less. So when I first started, the first couple days were the hardest, because I was like, man, I really want that ice cream. That in my mind, a nightcap was a little something sweet to end the night with. And if I couldn't have that, then I didn't feel complete, Now I try to just eat a balanced meal before. And this was another problem that I was having. I was doing a lot of my snacking right before bed. Like before my body could even digest it, I was going to sleep. So I would wake up feeling terrible, feeling like all this junk food was on my stomach, all this sugar that never really got digested. You know, the best time to eat sugar, if you're going to eat sugar, which you shouldn't, but if you're going to, the best time is after a meal because your body will digest it slower. Well, I was eating all of this junk food, all this, non-nutritious food right before bed, and basically having, these sugar cravings along with my snacking. And finally, I just had to be like, okay, I'm just gonna go to bed. Maybe I'll have a smoothie. Maybe I'll have a banana before bed, a couple strawberries, a fruit, a couple oranges, but then it's to bed. I'm not gonna spend the next 30 minutes snacking and watching TV and doing all that. Like, I just had to cut that out completely because, and if I'm really if I ate a small dinner early on and I'm really hungry, I will have like another bowl of oatmeal with blueberries, but that's it. And you got to be careful with sugar-free products too, because I was doing like stevia chocolate chips. You think that's safe, right? Stevia chocolate chips, wrong. It was mixed with erythritol. Erythritol is extremely irritating to the gut and can mess up gut biome, bacteria. So I was having like a lot of bloating, a lot of problems when I was eating the stevia chocolate chips. So I cut that out completely. Back to normal, back to flat stomach, back to, and guys, I'm seriously like 1 week in, I'm noticing my abs are showing more, and I've been working out every day because I always work out every day, but I'm noticing that my arms are looking slimmer, like my stomach is looking more toned, and this is only 1 week off, but if you think about eating an ice cream bar every single night or every single other night for months, and then you cut it out for a week, the week seems small, but that's 5 to 6 days of ice cream bars that you didn't eat, So it's like you got to be encouraged by small beginnings, because this is all steps towards a greater goal of being healthier, of not having long-term disease, of not having joint pain, not having diabetes, not having inflammation in the gut. So these are steps towards the long-term goal. I've seen people who've cut out sugar for 30 days. I've seen people who've cut out sugar for 10 years. I've seen people who've only cut out sugar for 2 weeks, but they all say that they noticeably felt a difference. The first couple of days hard, maybe the first 2 weeks hard, but then after that, smooth sailing. Because once you stop eating, you have to understand sugar is such a highly engineered, added sugar is such a highly engineered addictive chemical that labs and scientists have proven that will addict people like cocaine, and that they'll keep coming back more and more for that little fix, for that dopamine rush. So it's engineered to be addictive. We have to understand that, because if we're not aware of that, we don't understand the effects that it can have on our body and the effects that it will have on our cravings. Because once you stop eating sugar, at some point, whether that's a couple days in, for me, it was really just a weekend. Once it was a weekend, my cravings went away. You know what I mean? I stopped craving sweets. I stopped having that craving. I would just go to bed, and even if it was a distant thought in my mind, oh, it would be nice to kind of have an ice cream, maybe not, I had the willpower to be like, you know what? My long-term goal is to cut this out of my life completely. And I'm not saying that I'm going to cut out added sugar in every single sauce, in every single meal, and every single, that's probably not the way that I'm approaching this. I'm not going to be, too concerned about having a little bit of ketchup or something like that. But it's more on the grand scale of not eating ice cream at night, not snacking at night, substituting sugar with good alternatives like monk fruit and allulose and stevia. Those are all doctor recommended. There was a time where I was craving soda, so I started getting the stevia sodas. that instantly fixed my craving. And the stevia, it's like I couldn't even tell. Like it would have been, I mean, it almost tasted like it was sweetened with sugar. Like I can't even tell the difference, you know? So it's like there's certain things, if you're craving soda, if you're craving this, if you're craving that, there's always alternatives. And once you start adjusting to this new lifestyle, you'll realize that I can cut this out and I can be good at cutting this out. And I do lose the cravings, because the cravings are a part of the addiction. The addiction will give you withdrawal, the addiction will give you cravings. So once you cut out and stop that addiction, you'll realize that the cravings start going away and your body starts to recognize fruit as like really sweet. Like, I mean, I'm telling you, when I cut out fruit, I would just be sitting there over the sink eating strawberries, like, oh my God, this tastes so good. Like, I'm not used to that, you know, because I'm like, the only type of sweetness I enjoyed was like sugar, that like added sugar, you know? And so, like, to have this kind of change was huge for me. And for natural food to taste so good, I mean, that's just good. So, I would say that I'm going to check back in either once a week or however many times I want to, because this is really just for my accountability, so I can stay accountable with you guys, stay accountable with myself. So I'm really going to just post a vlog weekly or monthly and kind of tell you guys as the days go by of quitting sugar, like how my life is going with that. You know, do I miss it? Have I lost weight? You know, I mean, I'm already noticing that I'm losing weight. Like, that's how intense, you know, if you've been doing it so OD for so long, you'll notice that the small changes that you make have a huge impact. Just like small changes, just like small bad habits can build up, like snacking and little bites of this, little bites of that. Just how those bad habits can build up over time into a big, you know, difference of like 15 pounds or like 30 pounds. The small changes, cutting out the ice cream at night, cutting out the chips, cutting out the soda, that those little small changes also compound into all of a sudden you lost 15 pounds, you know, or maybe you recomped your body and you're building more muscle and your weight stays the same, but visually your body composition starts to tone up, starts to look, you start to lose body fat, you know, because that's the one thing with gluten and sugar, is that your body will burn those first instead of burning the fat that you stored inside of your body. So if you want to get back into burning fat and using your metabolism the right way, the best thing to cut out is those refined carbs. And I'm not talking about brown rice. I'm not talking about complex carbs. Oats are complex carbs. You know, I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the refined, processed white breads, even wheat breads. A lot of wheat breads have sugar in them, are refined. So you really want to stick to organic complex carbs. That is the best source of energy that you can get. But yeah, you got to cut out the glucose from other places, because your body will burn that first, and they'll forget about all the fat that you've stored over months and months and months and are trying to get rid of. So cut out the gluten, cut out the sugar, cut out the alcohol. That's another thing. And you will notice a huge difference. So I will keep you updated on everything I've got going on here. And maybe I'll show you guys kind of some of the stuff I'm eating or some of the stuff I'm substituting. And we will stay accountable together. All right.